Hey, what's up, guys? It's N Square Sports back. Today we're going to be talking about NFL running backs, starting with Melvin Gordon. We'll get into Ezekiel Elliot. Nick, tell me what's going on with Melvin Gordon.
So Melvin Gordon has recently asked the Chargers if he wants to be paid or traded. This puts the Chargers in an iffy situation because Melvin Gordon wants to be the highest paid running back. The Chargers do not necessarily have the money to pay him while still being flexible with their roster. I personally have the belief that I don't believe running backs deserve to be paid this much money. I don't think they're that essential to a team. I think they're good at running game is essential, but a great running back is not. Nick, what's your idea on this?
I think I've read a couple articles recently that it's true that the NFL is going to more of a running back by committee. I feel like now it's not as much. So you have three down back. Sorry, you have more of two guys who do it together. Like you had Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman. You had Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman. That's not as great of a duo, but Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara. Like there's guys on like almost. Not every team, but a lot of teams have running back by committee. They don't have a star. There are like 5 or 6 stars, and you can name them later. But a lot of besides the certain teams that have star running backs, a lot of them have committees that they play on. So I think Melvin Gordon, not really to me being a top 7-8 running back. I think that they don't really need him. They have 2 pretty good running backs already on their roster. If they had to let him go, I think they would be just fine. So because he's not a top running back for me, I think it's fine if you let him go.
He's definitely, we're saying top 8 is what we sort of consensually agreed on. But top 5 now, we're saying Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey are all better. But I think we saw last year that Austin Eckler did do a lot of work, and Austin Eckler helped Melvin Gordon, and even you could debate that Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon were a running back by committee together. They played well, really, really well. But Justin Jackson showed himself in the Steelers game, whether how controversial that game was, he played excellent that game and showed up in the big moments. I personally believe that they don't need Melvin Gordon and that they could save themselves some money and get a draft pick. And what this leads me to believe, I do think they'll trade him. And if I'm wanting Melvin Gordon to improve my team, and I think there's some teams that actually could take the next level. My favorite is the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think with O.J. Howard, Mike Evans, I think Jameis Winston could work with a running back. He used to play with Devontae Freeman in a more pro-style offense at Florida State. I think Melvin Gordon would work there with Bruce Arians. He could use him like he did David Johnson back in 2016, who had the historical season. The Bucks is a perfect fit for me. Yeah. Is there anything else you just want to add to this?
Yeah, I think another team maybe is Miami Dolphins. They have Kenyon Drake, and I think if you do a running back by committee with Kenyon Drake and Melvin Gordon leading the way, I think those are 2 really good running backs to have on your roster, and Miami's probably not going to be very good. So if you add Melvin Gordon, maybe you could get a little bit up there. So maybe that's a possible one too.
Definitely help Josh Rosen and maybe help him grow a little bit, give him a little more time, and give him a threat actually, because he really doesn't have anyone. So previously mentioned Ezekiel Elliot, he's want to be signed. He's holding out from training camp, which is happening at this current moment of recording video. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I don't know. Zeke to me is better than Melvin Gordon. Absolutely. So I don't have the reasons I do for Melvin Gordon about he is one of the top running backs. So I think in he's a rare one that it's really tough for me. Zeke has the legal allegations, the stuff he's done, maybe not done, who knows. Some of the stuff has been proven that he's done. It's hard with me for him because Zeke is so talented, but yet he has this legal stuff that is questionable sometimes.
Seems to keep popping up.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, you want to pay him, but do you really want to pay a guy who could get suspended more, and who knows what could happen? Also, you got to factor in they're going to pay Dak pretty soon. They're going to have to keep him, and do you really want to pay Dak and Zeke a big chunk of money that would take a lot out of the rest of your team? So it's a questionable thing. I really don't have a reason against trading him or a reason for keeping him. I can't really give one. All I can say is that he's kind of a troubled running back when it comes to off the field stuff. On the field, he's not troubled at all. So it's just, you have to weigh your options. Would you rather risk it and pay him, or would you rather get rid of him and not have to risk the off the field stuff?
I think the Cowboys, their team is built around the running game. And like you mentioned earlier, is Dak Prescott. They're going to have to pay him. In my opinion, the Zeke situation, no matter what it turns out to be, the likely scenarios, it's going to be a lose-lose scenario. They will lose in any case.
Yeah.
And I'll sort of present them quickly as Dak's going to have to get paid or Zeke gets paid. Then they have no money to really work with anything else.
Yeah.
They have that, or you don't pay Dak. You have the Cowboys fans that are really mad. Dak's the franchise of the Cowboys. That team needs a QB, and if you do that, you're not going to win. I think Dak does give some good wins. I'm more of a believer in him.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Dak.
If you don't have Zeke and you ship him off, Dak's going to struggle. Dak's worst season was his second year, and that was really with an on and off Zeke, not consistent. That was his whole legal issue year. Dak needs that running back. He needs that running game. The best scenario for this team, in my opinion, is they get draft picks and they get someone who can be suitable for Zeke. Zeke's once in a generation talent. He is really good. I just don't see how this team, if it's not this year, they're not going to do anything for a while.
And then you go into if they don't want to pay him, franchise tagging him, you have the risk of him holding out. And you know how that ended with the Steelers, so with Le'Veon Bell. So it's a risky road that they run if they do try to keep him and having to scramble for cap space and stuff like that. So
it's a sketchy situation.
Yeah, for sure.